ratios. Equivalent ratios are just ratios that express the same relationship. Equivalent ratios can be found using multiplication and or division. And they should be written in the same form in which they're given. So if they're written with the colon, you're going to continue with the colon. If they're written with the fraction bar, you continue with the fraction bar, and the same for the word to. So let's go over and look at number 1, where we have to write 2 equivalent ratios. Now, there are infinite amount of possibilities. You kind of want to think of them almost as equivalent fractions, but you're going to pick a number. So, for example, in A, I can decide to multiply both the 5 and the 6 by 2, and I would get 10, and 6 times 2, 12, 10 to 12. And I do the colon because that's the form that I was given. Then I could do times 3 and get 15 to 18. You could do times 10 and get 50 to 60. There are tons of different forms. These are just 3 examples. So these are just some examples that are correct. There are tons and tons that are correct. Now, if I go look at part B, I could multiply, but I can also use, this is where the division comes in that I had said over here. I could divide them both by 2. If I divide 12 by 2, I would get 6, and 14 by 2, I would get 7. So 6 over 7 is an equivalent ratio to 12 out of 14. I can multiply by 2, so I could do division, I could do multiplication. I could also do 24 over 28. And I can continue. I could have done 120 over 140. That's the times 10, which I find easy to do. So again, this is 3 examples. I only needed 2, but I wanted to show you both division and multiplication on them so you could understand. But you're just picking a number, and whatever you do to one of the numbers, you have to do to the other. So you have to keep it equivalent. Let's jump over and look at number 2 here on the right. And it says to fill in the table using equivalent ratios. So what we're going to be doing is we need to go from 2 to 4. Well, how do I do that? Using multiplication or division. You multiply by 2. So I would multiply the 12 by 2 to keep this consistent and equivalent, and I would get 24. So that means I would get 24 cookies in 4 bags. Now the next one, if I go from 2 to 6, that's multiplying by 3. So 12 times 3 would give me 36. And then I would have to look at the top now to get the bottom box. 12 times what is 60? Well, 12 times 5. So I'd have to do 2 times 5. And I would get 10. So I would get 60 cookies in 10 bags. Sometimes it's helpful to draw those arrows and write down the multiplication so you don't lose track. I hope that this video has helped you to understand generating equivalent ratios and will help you to complete the rest of the worksheet. Hope to see you again in another video. Bye for now.